So today we're going to go and talk about the STR Android 8, and I think the best place to start when talking about this unit is inside his pre-Dokkan Awakening, because he essentially gets an awakening just about a year later, and his awakening is actually pretty solid. I gotta say that outright, because he does work well for the Legendary Goku event, but the only issue is that at the time of his awakening, we're currently inside the Extreme Super Battle Mode meta. Of course, this guy gets awakening in May of 2020, and as you guys know, ESBR comes out on the same day of 2020, of course, on JP. It had the little weird oddity where Global didn't get ESBR until the part 2 of the Worldwide Down Celebration of 2020. I've always said this, it was just so ridiculous that Global didn't get the first 10 stages of ESBR back in same day of 2020. Now, with that being said, let's go and talk about the pre-Dokkan Awakening, because I do want to start here. He is a unit that releases as an SSR, of course, in May of 2019. And as you guys know, in 2019, it is the Legendary Goku event meta. And funny enough, the Legendary Goku event meta, of course, does release on Goku Day of 2019. And, of course, I mean, Goku Day of 2019. Goku Day is May 9th. And this guy releases May 24th, so it's about 2 or maybe 3 weeks shy of this guy being released as SSR. You're not using him inside the Legendary Goku event because A, he's not stacking defense, B, he only has 80% defense to his name, albeit this is a very easy condition to activate. You're not using him in there regardless because he only has 80% defense, he doesn't stack defense, and he's an SSR. So I think that is pretty much it when talking about this guy's SSR. Now, moving on over to his Awakening, which is almost a full year away because he gets his awakening May 22nd of 2020, and of course he comes out May 24th of 2019, so basically 2 days off from his awakening at this specific time. Now, this is during the Extreme Super Battle Road meta, and I would honestly say he's a good option for the Extreme Super Battle Road meta. Well, basically for the event as a whole, because he does have a stun chance with attack debuff ability, so that already on paper makes him a viable option for that event because he has a 30% chance to stun and he lowers attack on super. He lowers defense too, but as you guys know, lowering defense is not really great, obviously. Now, one thing I do want to say before continuing on, inside his pre-Dokkan Awakening, of course, in his SSR, he does lower attack and defense. Now, if I am correct, you could lower the pretty much every phase of the Legendary Goku event's defense, if I remember correctly. Let me just go ahead and go on over to you. Yeah, I'm pretty certain you could. Yeah, you can lower this guy's defense throughout the entire fight. I just want to go and just throw it out there. Now, with that being said, let's go back on over to this guy. He is a good option for Extreme Super Battle because he can attack debuff and have a stun chance on his super attack effect. So already out the gate, he is a good option for that event because he's a debuff the enemy and he has a stun chance. Now, would this guy reliably be able to take a hit in that event? I would argue no, because A, he has to take the first hit, and of course that first hit is going to hurt because before he gets his guard for 3 turns, he has to first receive that attack. And that first attack in ESBR, where those enemies are hitting very, very hard, listen, it could either be a super attack, which would obviously instantly kill him, provided he's taking any sort of attack and does not go ahead and stun the enemy. I mean, he's going to be attack debuffing them, but even through attack debuff, those ESBR enemies, let me tell you guys, ESBR, that meta was no joke. I'm just going to go and say that outright. It's like when Saiyan Day of 2019, of course, was out at the time, and we had Tech Raditz and all these other cards. Guys, of course, cards that could work very well inside of Extreme Super Battle Road. Those first 10 stages were hard as hell. I'm just going to say that outright. And this guy being an option that does come out some weeks, well, basically not some weeks later, excuse me, because I'm thinking about the pre-Dokkan Awakening card. This guy being an option, it does help, but the case in point is that he does have to take that first attack. Now, going back on over to where we're talking about with this guy on the defensive end inside Extreme Super Battle Road, he has to first take that attack, and after he does take that attack, he can technically still die through his guard. Like for example, let's say that you sit this guy inside the second slot and there's a lot of attacks being hit inside the second slot because this guy wants to be inside the second or third slot anyways because he wants to attack, debuff the enemy, as well as be able to get that stun off on them. So let's say that this guy is inside the second slot for this specific situation and he takes that first attack. You have no items left. He takes that first attack. He takes a bit of damage. And then a boss supers him. Of course, him having guard up because he's already taken that attack. The boss supers him. He's going to take a lot of damage. He through that guard because he still has to build up his damage reduction. Through that guard, he is going to take a lot of damage from that super. I mean, although you're going to be able to attack, debuff the enemy on super, if he's taking a lot of attacks, he has to first build up all his damage reduction first, which of course he gets 8% damage reduction. Each attack received up to 40%, which is obviously good. But for Extreme Super Battle Road, you're only really using him for his debuff as well as his stun chance. Being able to reliably rely on this guy at this time would not really be the best way to go because those ESBR enemies were hitting hard as hell. Now, if you were burning an item, which you 9 times out of 10 at the time were going to burn an item if you're running this guy on the rotation because he has to first take that attack, it's going to make it much more easier for this guy to build up his damage reduction. But yeah, let's go back on over to talking about his entire kit. So of course he gets 150% attack as well as guard for 3 turns after receiving an attack, which means that he has to first take that attack before he receives that guard for those multiple turns. He builds up 8% damage reduction up to 40%, which is obviously good, but the only issue is that it's not going to be easy for him to build up that damage reduction unless unless you burn the item. And of course he gets 120% attack and defense if you have a Goku Ceramic category ally on the team. Now I love that they worded it to the fact that it says on the team. Now you really want that Goku Ceramic category ally because he needs that 120% defense, especially inside the SBR. But I would say overall his kit is good. He does have a good kit. He has guard with damage reduction, pretty much. But I feel as if though he's going to be more effective inside the Legendary Goku event, which of course is the previous meta before of course Extreme Super Battle Road. So I don't think there's much more to say about this guy. I'm going to show a bit of footage from the Truth video, of course, shout out to the Truth. And let's take a quick peek at how many 200% leader skills he's on. He's only on Path to Power Goku's 200% leader skill. Now, for this video, he is running him on a double 170% lead. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it's the double 170% leader skill. Let me go over to DB Saga. Yeah, it is a double 170% leader skill to DB Saga. So, for this specific rotation, he does use LRB Pan's active skill. Spoiler alert, the Truth loved using LRP Pan's active skill to buff up, of course, the allies' attack. Let's go ahead and see what the STR Android 8 is going to be doing. I did see this part, but I don't remember how much damage he did. And what was his defensive stat? And this is his first turn, too. Okay. So, what's his defensive stat? What do we have here for STR Android 8? 64k defense. You know, that's fine. That is fine. For this event. For this event, that is completely fine because, of course, you guys already know how the Legendary Goku event goes. You have to build up, build up, build up. It's about stacking defense, getting your defensive abilities up. He just has to get hit to get his damage reduction up. He does 3 million. That's okay, considering that he's a defensive unit. I don't really have much more to say about it. Granted, it is a low attack stat, but if you factor in what he's doing, he builds up damage reduction, he has guard for multiple turns. That's fine. That is completely fine. So I think that's all that needs to be said about this STR Android 8. Now, when he does get a EZA, what are they gonna do to him? It's like he has a solid pre-EZA palette. I'm gonna say so. His only issue is, in my opinion, is that he has to get hit before he gets his guard. But they could technically, Would fixing the issue, let me just go ahead and grab up this guy. Because when I see this guard at the receiving an attack, I think of this guy. I'm pretty sure he's on this team, right? He is. Yeah, this guy. This is exactly who I think of, because this guy has to take an attack before he guards for that same turn. And this is a better ability because he guards for multiple turns at the receiving attack compared to this guy guarding for just that turn at the receiving attack. So he's essentially, because I feel like they're going to make him a support type unit. There's no way they don't, right? He's essentially going to be a better version of this guy. For sure. Because what does this guy have over him on his post-EZA? We can pretty much, we can make out what they can possibly do with this guy. So they'd probably extend this to 5 turns from 3 turns. And they give him a high amount of defense just like they did to this guy. They make him a support type unit to possibly just DB Saga? Possibly? I mean, that sounds just about right. Or Goku's family. They can make him a Goku's family support type unit because, of course, he wants a Goku's family character on the team. So it would just make sense if they do that. High percentage of defense. Maybe make this 200% attack and make this 5 turns of guard. And make him a support type unit. Although, of course, an all-ally support would be way better. I realistically see them making him a Goku's family support or a DB Saga support. All-ally support would be good. It would be good. I mean, I don't see why Dokkan wouldn't be able to do that. And of course, he would gain defense super. But yeah, I think that is really about it. I've spent too much time talking about this guy. But yeah, appreciate you guys watching. You guys are the best. Join the 24/7 Discord server. Link is down below in the description. And like the video if you enjoyed. I'll catch you guys next time. I absolutely love you all. I don't know if I said that already, but peace.